First order of business is roll call. Tonight we have all members of the committee present: Dominique Johnson, Tom Keegan, Tom Livingston, Nora Najelski-Eichner, Lisa Shanahan, Darlene Young, and myself, Barbara Smith. Okay, next item on the agenda is public input. So I would just like to ask if there is anyone who has, we have some attendees here. If anyone would like to speak on behalf of any of the items on the agenda. I know we have the Morticos here. So if you would like to speak, this would be your opportunity. You have 3 minutes. And all you have to do is raise your hand right now. At the bottom of the screen, you have the opportunity to raise your hand. And if you'd like to speak now, you can go ahead and raise your hand and we'll open the mic for you. Okay, very good. It doesn't look like we have anyone for public comment then. Moving on to new business, approve the minutes of the Public Works Committee meeting of Tuesday, March 1st, 2022. Would someone like to move that, please? Ms. Shanahan moves the minutes. Are there any corrections, deletions, changes?
Yes, Chair.
Yes.
I have one brief correction. I just need to make sure I get the page correct. Sorry, when we were speaking about plowing, I had commented on misery, about the misery of plowing. I specifically had referenced the misery of plowing my street. So I didn't want it to sound as if I thought that the DPW workers thought that it was miserable to plow everywhere. So I apologize. I had the page open and lost
it. And I'm sorry. I had my agenda up and hi Zelda. Is that Zelda?
Zelda, here, go. Take
hi, Zelda.
Zelda.
Oranges.
We'll find the page.
It's page 13 of the packet.
Thanks, Tom. Okay, page
Thank
13.
you.
Okay, Monique, got that?
Which is page 10 of the minutes.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
How miserable it is to plow.
Yes.
There you go.
Specifically, so how miserable is to plow my street? A very important addition.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Any other changes, deletions? Okay, that being said, all in favor of the minutes as amended, raise your hand. Ms. Young. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's unanimous. Okay, item 2. We have a lot of technical corrections tonight. Technical correction for the Common Council action of April 13th, 2021, item 7C5, to add accounts designated for the Walk Bridge program. 0301-0515 NP project, including the PAL enclosed with this agenda, whereby the City of Norwalk will transfer funds in the amounts of $3,750,000 on May 30th, 2021, and $1,875,000 on July 1st, 2022, and $1,875,000 on July 1st, 2023 to fund the undergrounding of utility lines on East Avenue from Fort Point Street to Olmstead Place to be performed by Connecticut DOT. Account numbers noted. I'm just going to have Vanessa speak to that. This is something that was already approved. So go ahead, Vanessa.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So you're correct. This we approved last year for the advanced utility project, the non-participating area that we are doing the underground from Fort Point all the way to Olmstead. And we have 3 installments that we are paying for DOT. The only thing that we're doing now, we are adding the accounts for this fiscal year because our next payment is due.
Okay, pretty straightforward. Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
You want a motion first, Barbara?
Oh, thanks, Tom. Yes, Tom moves that. And I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Abstentions? All right, that carries unanimously. On to item number 3, authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order for Gabrielli Truck Sales of Milford for the purchase of one 2023 Mack GR 42F plow truck for an amount not to exceed $265,043, count noted. Would someone move that, please? Tom Keegan moves that. Thank you, Mr. Keegan. And this is an item that's already been approved. Vanessa?
I have Chris here in case you guys have any questions about the trucks.
Seems pretty straightforward, but why don't you tell us about the truck, Chris?
This is part of our capital fleet replacement program where we standardize our fleet. We are still replacing, we have 3 1995 Ford L9000s that we're replacing. And we had originally 10 of them. So our fleet department has kind of gutted them. So there's just a metal frame left. That's how we keep them on the road. But eventually they're going to die. So as part of this process, we put in for 2 trucks this year. We were approved for 1. This is one of them. But like the trucks next year, they told us, our manufacturer, that we have to order them this year or we're not going to get frames or chassis for them. And they went up $30,000 from this fiscal year to moving forward, just to let everyone know.
Seems like that's the case with everything. Prices are going up sky high. Okay, any questions about that? All right, I'll take a vote. All in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that item carries unanimously. Item 4, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an acknowledgement and consent to the assignment and assumption of a certain license agreement dated July 8th, 1982 for retaining wall located at 27 Soundview Avenue. Said assignment and assumption by and between Kepler Dort and Margaret Dort on assigner and Jennifer Meager and Dylan Sauerwald as assignee. Will someone move that, please? Ms. Johnson moves the item, and I will turn this over to Vanessa. This is the license agreement on the retaining.
Yes, so this license agreement is for 27 Soundview Avenue. So Mr. Callahan is here so he can give you guys the background.
Great. So just really briefly, roughly 4 decades ago now, we granted a license agreement so that the then current owner of 27 Soundview Avenue could essentially build a retaining wall within the right of way. And that's existed since that time. There's been a series of subsequent owners. Each time the license agreement had to be assigned, the obligations had to be assigned and assumed by the purchaser of the property. And the process that's been followed is that it's come back to the Common Council for approval of that assignment and assumption and the continuation of the license agreement. So I believe the assignors, Kepler and Marguerite Dort, they're probably attending this call right now, but they are the sellers of the property. They're, I believe, under contract to sell. In fact, I know they're under contract to sell the property to Jennifer and Dylan. I'm not going to even try to pronounce their last name because I don't want to slaughter it. But and so in order to, I'm sure, clear up their title and comply with the license agreement, they've made a request to the law department to move this forward. I worked with the seller's attorney, and so that's what's before the panel today.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Do you have questions of the Dorts or Mr. I'm not sure we have Mr. Sauerwalds, but do we need to bring them over if anyone has questions for them?
They're just here in case there were questions.
Okay. All right. Any questions or concerns? All right. I will call for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand, please. Opposed? Abstentions? All right. That item carries unanimously as well. Okay, so moving on to these next technical corrections 5 through 11, I'm actually going to just read them all in a row because they all pertain to the same thing, which is the assigning of an account number for purpose, because these are ARPA funded items, and for the purposes of accountability and transparency, they are being given account numbers by the BET. So it's all the same thing for different projects. So I'm just going to read them all together. Somebody please remind me to make sure I call for a motion to move the items when I'm done. And here we go. All right. Item 5, technical correction of the Common Council action, December 14, 2021. Item 77A, to add accounts designated for Kelowna Concrete and Asphalt Paving LLC for project DRG 2021, 1 Dreamy Hollow, Bettsbrook area drainage, sanitary sewer, and water main improvements, account numbers noted. Item 6, technical correction of the Common Council action, December 14, 2021. Item 7D7B, to add accounts designated for Kelowna Concrete and Asphalt Paving LLC for project DRG 2021, 1 Dreamy Hollow, Bettsbrook area drainage, sanitary sewer, and water main improvements, account numbers noted. Item 7, technical correction of the Common Council action, October 12, 2021. Item 7B7, to add accounts designated for Woodward and Curran to provide on-call professional engineering services for the storm drainage system evaluation, Glendenning Street, account number noted. Item 8, technical correction of Common Council action, October 12, 2021. Item 7B8, to add accounts designated for Woodward and Curran to provide on-call professional engineering services for the storm drainage system evaluation, Glenwood Avenue, account number noted. Item 9, technical correction of the Common Council action, December 14, 2021. Item 78, to add accounts designated for Woodward and Curran to provide construction administration services associated with Dreamy Hollow, Bettsbrook area drainage, sanitary sewer, and water main improvements, account numbers noted. Item 10, technical correction of the Common Council action, February 8, 2022. Item 7C1, to add accounts designated for Tie and Bond Inc. for professional engineering services for project 4177 DRG 2022-1, design and permitting for Lockwood Lane and Heather Lane storm drainage improvements, account number noted. Item 11, technical correction of the Common Council action, September 14, 2021. Item 7C4, to add accounts designated for Olmstead Tree and Shrub Care Company LLC for the supply of planting trees and shrubs, account number noted. Would someone like to move those items, please? Mr. Livingston moves them. And Vanessa, go ahead and just give the deeper explanation of.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. So, but you did a fantastic job. So that's exactly what it is. All these projects have already been approved, but we are using our ARPA fund to pay for them. Originally, we're gonna use the ARPA fund. That money was gonna be already allocated to the project account. But now internally, we're doing a different procedure with all the ARPA money. So there will be sub-accounts under the ARPA account. You guys gonna see this item coming through BET in front of the Common Council, where all the ARPA projects will be presented to the Common Council. But in order to not lose another month, what we are doing is those accounts have been created and we are just doing a technical correction so we can reassign that. After everything gets approved on BET and goes in front of Common Council by the end of the month, we are ready to go and we can continue paying and working on those projects. So that's what it is.
Any questions? No, straightforward. Okay, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Ms. Young?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, those items carry unanimously as well. Okay, item 12, we're zooming through this agenda, aren't we? Item 12, Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a Sixth Amendment to the August 28, 2007 agreement for professional engineering services between the City of Norwalk and Aid to Caesar Associates, PC, regarding the East Avenue reconstruction project for amount not to exceed $100,000 in accordance with the attached scope of services dated March 30th, 2022, accounts noted. Will someone move that item, please? Ms. Shanahan moves the item. And this is regarding the southern portion of East Avenue. And I'll just turn this over to Vanessa for details regarding, what the DOT has planned, what's been approved, and where we're going with this, and TMP as well.
Right. So I'm going to give a longer explanation about the whole project when we get to the discussion item. But this authorization is really to add another task order to our consultant on the East Avenue roadway improvement project. TMP would like to do some changes from our original design to calm a little bit the traffic and accommodate some bike lanes south of Van Zandt. So pretty much almost from, actually it's more south of Winfield that we're trying to do, and then around the cemetery. So for us to be able to do that design, we need to engage again Art to Caesar. And there is one of the things that we are proposing, we need to go for a design exception with DOT because it's a little bit out of their standard. So that's why there is the fee is a little bit higher because there is a lot of paperwork. So that's what it is. And we're trying to get this done right away because when I present to you guys the Walk Bridge program, you're going to see that this project is about to start by the end of this year. So we're trying to get this design exception done.
In what ways is it a little out of their standards?
Is the width of the lane. So this is the biggest thing that we are asking for a reduction on the width of the lane south of Whitfield. And that is already Route 136. So we have to go for a design exception.
I see.
We
Okay.
believe,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, maybe you're about to answer it. What do you think the likelihood is that they'll approve that?
We are very confident, Tom, because TMP had already talked to DOT, not DOT that is doing the walk bridge, but DOT traffic, and they grant similar on Winfield and on Van Zandt. So this is really going to close the loop.
Okay.
We do not know if we're going to get it, but the main thing so far that we were able to at least get is that the walk bridge program that you're going to see their schedule is very tight for that area. It is about to happen. They are willing to wait for us to do this change and then accommodate. So that's what it is.
Great. Thank you.
Are there other questions? Okay. Seems like it's something that will improve traffic, walkability, and safety in that area. So I will call for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that motion
And
carries.
Mrs. Chairwoman, I just want to also just call the attention that actually both departments are funding this. You know, it's not only DPW, we are using accounts from both. So it is like a joint thing that we're trying to, because we're like really trying to get money everywhere so we can make this go through. So TMP is also putting money as well as DPW 50-50.
Understood. Thank you. Good to know. Okay, item 11. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to concur with project authorization construction letter dated March 30th, 2022, and issued by the State of Connecticut Department of Transportation for State Project 102-360, traffic signal upgrades and installation of dynamic message systems. Do I have a motion?
Chair, before the motion, I believe is an item 13, just to be clear for the minutes.
What did I say?
11.
Wow, that's my bad eyesight.
No.
Item 13, thank you very much. And I'll have you move that item if you don't mind.
Happy to.
Ms. Nadelsky-Eichner. Okay, great. Okay, and these are traffic signals along East Avenue.
It is, so this is what we call the phase 4 of the traffic signal projects. It's 2 on East Avenue, 2 on West Avenue, and there is a 5th alternate. So Mr. Yosek is here from TNP, and he can give you the details about where are those locations.
Thank you, Vanessa. we're doing 2 signals on West Avenue, one in front of the Grace Baptist Church, and the other, that's that signal that was knocked down a couple years ago. We want to put that one back up, and the West Avenue at Garner Street, and 2 on East Avenue. One is at Eversley, and the other one is at St. John Street. And then we have a bid alternate at Newtown and Allen Road. The project's 100% funded by the state, although it is capped. So that's why we have a bid alternate in there in case we exceed the cap. We would have to pay for that with city funds. So any other questions, I'd be happy to entertain them.
Questions? No? Okay. All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, and that carries unanimously. Item 13.
Thank you very much.
Carries unanimously. Okay, thanks, Mike. Okay, so moving on to information discussion, we've moved some of the other discussion items that we normally get an update on to next month. I think everyone's noticed that Mr. Carr is not able to be with us tonight, so we'll pick up with all of those in our next meeting. But in the meantime, for tonight, we have an update. Vanessa is, oh yes, Ms. Young.
I almost regret raising my hand at this point. I probably should save what I want to say until the end, but I won't do that because I raised my hand and this is serious. Okay. So I'm just going to say it because I raised my hand.
Okay.
Sharon Stewart passed away.
Oh.
And I didn't mean to raise my hand right now.
Oh my.
So she was a council person and
yeah, and a good person.
And she loved what she did. She loved being on the council.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to raise my hand.
Darlene.
It came to my head and I was like, oh my God, before we even go left and I forget, I wanted to tell you guys. I'm sorry.
That's very, very bad and sad news.
I'm sorry. No. Please go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you for telling us. It's a lot to take in. Okay.
And I think we just owe her just a minute, Barbara.
That's what I was just going to say. Let's take a minute. Let's take a moment of silence for her before we move on. Thank you. Okay, let's try to move on. Devastating news. Vanessa, I'm going to turn it over to you for an update on the Walk Bridge program.
Okay, thank you. So I have a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to share my screen and then I'm going to go through the slides. I just want to let you guys know that, again, this is just, I am kind of almost the liaison from the city side on the project. So what I'm sharing with you is everything that I know up to date, meaning that if there are any changes on the schedule that always happen or some changes in the plans, it's beyond me. And then that happens all the time. So what I'm presenting to you tonight is exactly what I know as 7:34 p.m. Let me just get here the share screen and can you guys see the presentation?
Yes, we can
Okay,
see.
perfect. Okay. So maybe I think that it's easier that I go throughout all the slides. I don't mind that you guys interrupt me, but I think that probably I'll be able to answer the questions through the slides. And if not, you can ask me something at the end. But if you feel that I missed something in a certain slide, feel free to let me know. Okay, so we're gonna go through the whole program. So what is the Walk Bridge program, right? And what is the update as of today? So the agenda that I would like to cover is that we're gonna know about the program status, what is the timeline and the upcoming projects that will come out of it, how are the status of the CP 243 interlocking at the Danbury Dockyard, the advanced utility update, that is the project that is happening now on East Avenue, and what are the cities so far have benefited from this project. So I know that most of you have a very good idea about what is the program, but I know that there are some people that is new to this committee, so I just wanna go through why is a program and what that encumbers. So this is screen, and I'm gonna go left to right so you can follow me. So the green line here, it is what we call the Danbury Branch Dockyard project. That project is pretty much completed, and that was one of the first things that they start doing. The reason that they did that is that they need to electrify the line that goes really behind the mall, almost to our transfer station, because when they're doing the walk bridge here, they will be able to detour the trains that is coming out of New York, maneuver them here and send them back. So remember that the Danbury line is just a diesel operated track, so they electrify up to here so they could have that capacity of using that as like a maneuver area. Some tracks were added to it. In order to be able to accomplish that, they also replaced the N Street Bridge, and this happened about 2-3 years ago already. I said that I was going to go left to right, but I'm lying because I want to show you guys that another thing that got done and is finishing is the CP 243 Interlocking Project. And what is that? That you guys see that project pretty much behind Northern Place and go close to the Westport line. And what they did that is pretty much what the name says. They have to add those interlocking so they are able to shift the trains from one track to the other. For those that do not know, it's not like a road, right? You cannot just put the train from one track to the other. You need this kind of interlocking system. And the one that we had was much more north. What will happen is that during the construction of the walk bridge, we're going to be down to only one track at a time. We have two now, the northbound and southbound, and then there will be times that will be only one. So what will happen is that the trains that are coming either northbound or southbound will have to change tracks to be able to cross that bridge. Actually, all the others as well. But that's what the project that they did, they're about to finish this one. And with that, they also changed the Catenary lines, they new power to the lines and all that. So these are pretty much has been happening for a few years, and most of the work happened on tracks. Okay, so now, as I explained, in order for them to replace the walk bridge, and there will be a change on the elevation of the tracks, they had to change the following bridges as well: the 4 Point Street, Osborne, and also East Avenue. So again, it's not a road where the car can go up to a certain slope, the trains cannot. So in order to match the new elevation of the walk bridge, all this track work has to be done and the bridges has to be accommodated as well. So with that, the program will be replacing the walk bridge, 4 Point Bridge. Actually now will be a brand new bridge in a different location because we're aligning South Smith with 4 Point. So we're gonna get rid of that dead right turn under the bridge. Osborne will be replaced and East Avenue that will be widened. Now, I just want to add that East Avenue has been in the books to be widened for over 20 years. And what happened is that about 20 years ago, they want to change this bridge because of the abutments. It's very narrow and they want a wider abutment in this bridge. That's when, by then, 20 years ago, the city went for grants because they saw the opportunity to improve East Avenue roadway. In other words, the bridge was going to be widened and then they want to widen the road as well. So this has always been a separate standalone project. On the East Avenue roadway improvement project, the state was funding 100% of the construction and the city was paying for design, where for the bridge itself, everything was state funded, design and construction. When they start looking at the whole walk bridge program, the tracks originally just needed to be finished around here, where is my cursor. And then what we did, we ended up asking them to consider to incorporate the improvement of this bridge that we have been waiting for 20 years. And luckily they did, and that's where you're going to see the benefits that are going to bring to us, because now they're going to have new platforms all along both sides, where now the train can open all doors on East Avenue. So this was a big win for the city a few years ago, where we are able to get the East Avenue roadway improvement and this bridge incorporated under the program. We were able to transfer the funds, and still we got 100% construction on it. Another thing that has happened on East Avenue is that one of the rules with Connecticut rails is that no utility can be hanged back on a bridge. So if you have power, or if you have fiber or phone, most of them goes right under the span of the bridge. By the new rule, they want things to go underground. So as part of the replacement of all these bridges, everything needs to go under here. So again, the city saw a great opportunity to now improve the East Avenue underground utilities here, because as part of the bridge replacement, the state is undergrounding from 4 Point all the way to Winfield. And then the city decided that it would be worth to participate and continue the underground all the way to Olmstead. And that is one of the items that that we have. No, we didn't have, we have the design here, but this is, no, actually, I'm sorry, we do have as that second payment for the state. So we were able to negotiate, our portion was over $7 million. And for the first time, we were able to pay in 3 installments. And that's the second installment that we're paying now. So this is the overall of the program. I'm gonna now go into details. So just so you guys have an idea, the total duration of the program, it's expected to be from now on about 6 years. Okay, so a lot of things has changed through this past few years because of schedule, permits, staging, construction ways, design. So this is what I have as the latest. So 2022. CP 243 and the Danbury Dockyard completion. Those are the 2 projects that I mentioned that they started a few years ago. There will be an early Catenary work construction start, which means that there will be more work on the track. So they're going to change some of the power lines there. And the East Avenue roadway improvement begins. And I'm going to go into details to that. That was supposed to be the last thing to happen through this program. But now, in order to be able to keep things moving, they're going to start widening the road before the bridge is widened. And I'll explain better there. In 23-24, we're going to see a little bit of an early walk bridge work. I'll explain what it is, and we'll be pretty much have the platforms built in and start the vessel relocation. On 24-25, we should be finalizing the advanced utility project. So all the underground of East Avenue should be completed by then. And then the local bridges will start to be replaced. what does that mean? Remember, we have to build all the bridges at the same time because the train will be shifted to one side while the other gets demolished. So that's where you're going to start seeing some of the work happening on all those bridges. And the lift tower piers will start to be built. 25, 26, the main bridge, the walk, the abutment and spans will be done, and the lift tower structure should be completed. And then also we're going to continue finalizing the local roadway bridges, because again, we have to shift to the other side. And with that, we'll, on 26 through 28, the span of the walk bridge should be completed with abutments and approaches. And by 29, we should have this whole project completed. So I'll go into a little bit of details on some of the things that I just said. So this is the early Catenary work. So it's anticipated to start this summer and should last about 2 years. Where this work is going to happen is on tracks only and will be from 4 Point all the way to the East Norwalk station. This is a picture of what they have been doing. This is really at the Dockyard. So it's all in the Interlocking Dockyard. So it's all the way up at, near Northern Place. So that's the kind of work that it is. This is what we call the Catenary. This is structure here. This is what it is. They put this in and now the power goes here. So there will be 32 new foundations in 11 structures and another 1,100 railroad tie replacements into this. Okay, East Avenue roadway improvements. So again, I just want that you guys remember that the advanced utilities is happening as we speak. So that's why it is not showing here as future improvements, because it's happening now. But this is how by the time that this project is finished, is how this is going to look. There is only one thing that is not showing the new rendering, and I'll get to it. So one thing that I want that you guys notice is that we were able to also get DOT to buy the third taxing district property right here. And this will allow us to align 4 Point with the new entrance of the East Avenue train station. And so now, and also we're going to have a permanent traffic light here. So it will be very easy to make the turns in and out of 4 Point and in and out of the East Avenue driveway. This is really, and you can see that this is already showing the widening of the road. So we're going to get the 2 lanes here, 2 lanes here. And one big thing about the East Avenue roadway improvements is that we're going to get rid of that shift of lanes when you're going towards the beach. So if you're staying in 1 lane, you're going to be able to continue all the way through 4 Point. So if you stay on the right lane, you can go all the way to 4 Point and make the rights. And if you stay on your left lane, you're going to also be able to continue through with some left lanes on Myrtle and I forgot the name of the road, the one before. And as of now, we have Cheryl's here on this portion of East Avenue, but we're trying to put some bike lanes south of it. So again, this should start on 2022. How this project is going to be built now is that we'll have to make, because the bridge is not going to be widened in advance as was before, we're going to first widen one part of the road, and then we're going to go back and widen the second one after the bridge is completed. So that's why this project shows a very long duration, because we are pending on the bridge abutment to be changed. So we're going to get a wider roadway, a new paver, crosswalk, and sidewalks. As most of you know, Planning and Zoning had an East Avenue TOD, where there is a whole new statics to this area, and we already incorporated that into this project as well. So whatever are those standards is already part of this new project.
Do you have a question?
I do. Is it okay? Can I ask it now?
Sure, go ahead.
Vanessa, if you just go back, I'm sorry, to that last slide for just for a second. I just had a question about lighting. So where the Shell station is, that's 4 Point, right?
Correct. So
and so you said there's going to be a light there?
A traffic light. There will be a traffic light here, permanent traffic light, and there will be crosswalks on the 4 sections here.
So between that sidewalk, it's just one small block, right? Because isn't that right before the Penny's Diner? Because
Yeah,
in there,
a block
there's
and a
a
half,
church on the
yes.
corner, so there's a light there. It's a very small, so we're gonna have 2 stops within that short.
Yes, but they will be synchronized. So what will happen is that when one opens, all opens. We did the timing already. So it will be able to clear the left turn and then eventually all the traffic. Now remember also, Ms. Young, that now we have more space for the traffic to flow. So the queue will be reduced because we have now a wider road.
And then, so the stoplight that used to be under the railroad pass at the station house, that's gonna be a light too, right? So everything's gonna be pretty synchronized then.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes, I'm sorry. Should I go back?
Yeah, sorry. No, and you may not be able to answer this like right now, but in terms of the synchronization of the lights, I mean, what is that going to do to like the speed of traffic? Will it be?
So how we time the traffic signal is based on a lot of, we run some models, right? So they first go, they do the traffic count. Then we see how does it look on the model, and that's how the phasing of the traffic starts. So when I say that it's synchronized, doesn't mean necessarily that all of them will turn red and green at the same time, because we need to get the ones that are further, that are taking some of the turn from the side streets to be open first. So all that is also part of the improvement of the East Avenue roadway improvements, where we are upgrading all the systems that we already have there.
Okay, I'm just wondering, just in terms of like, is this gonna, because the flow is clearly so much better than it has been. It's that, that's just been like a ski slope, right? And
Right.
Are we gonna be able to keep the traffic, moving a little slower, because with the improvements down there, I know we wanna create more walkability around the train station. I'm just asking in terms of safety.
It will be much more safer, plus we're making the sidewalks even wider.
Mhm.
So the idea is not to improve speed, it's just to improve flow.
Right. Okay, thank you.
No problem. So wetland preservation, this is something that is required by DEEP. And we work very closely with conservation, and those are the areas that we're picked where we're gonna have the wetland being preserved and restored. So this should start off spring of next year. There is a certain time of the year where we can do that work, and we'll be like to mitigate some sites, and also things that will happen in advance of the walk bridge besides the wetland preservation is we're gonna start moving the Metro North wires that will be through a channel under the river. They're gonna start building the platforms, and also they're gonna finally demolish the IMAX. So the IMAX demolition should be happening early next spring. So then in 2024 is when we're gonna really see some of those bridges being replaced. So starting here, this is the south view of East Avenue. So here's Winfield, and that's where is the new bridge, and already with the widening of it. One thing that I want to call your attention that is not showing these renderings is we're going to get elevators here, but the elevators is not part of the walk bridge program because DOT is working directly with a private partnership on what they call TOD. So that's why it doesn't show on the renderings, but the idea is that someone will come and they're gonna build the 2 elevators on both sides here. So this is the East Avenue roadway looking southbound, and these are the platforms updates that will happen on both sides. As I mentioned, you can see better on this drawing. Now the platform will extend pretty much from here all the way through here. So all cars will be able to open all doors on East Avenue. On 4 Point, again, there will be a realignment with South Smith. So the new bridge will be, if you're coming more closer to the, I would say, the west side of the road, originally it is around here, so it will be shifted here, just so you guys can understand where we are. The operations center is right behind here. That's the roof of it. So that's where it is, and now it will be a straight street to South Smith. And the other one that will be replaced, that I would say is the easiest one, is Osborne, because it's just the replacement of the upper deck. There is no change on any of the abutments. So this is the simplest of all of that. Those are the two projects that I mentioned that has been finalized. So is the interlocking and the Danbury Dockyard. These are some of the pictures, and this is what it is, the Catenary, and what they did. One thing that is still needs to be installed, it is some planting and trees along the Saugatuck Landing. And one thing that needs to be finished in the Danbury Dockyard is some Catenary work, and also finalize some of the wiring. They should have this completed by the end of this year. Another project now that is on its way, for those that have been taking East Avenue, you'll see that there is a lot of lane closures, nightly closures, and that's the East Avenue Advanced Utility Project. One of the hardest parts to do is to get all the work done right under the bridge. Some of those underground structures, particularly the new water main, goes very, very deep. So we cannot allow traffic to go right next to it when they're excavating due to the depth. Another thing that also is happening is that because of the amount of excavation and the type of abutment of that bridge, where DOT is carefully monitoring, and we have readings on that bridge all the time. But everything is going well. It is kind of on schedule, you know, when I say kind of, because we know that with COVID and all this supply chain, there are some delays. But they are working nonstop, and I think that so far is working fine. We allowed them to have a full week closure about 2 weeks ago, and then they were able to do a major portion of this work that was easier, because most of the time they excavate at night and then they backfill during the day. You guys gonna see now that the weather is getting better, more alternate lanes through East Avenue, because they're gonna start getting out of the bridge and proceed with the work northbound. So I just wanna, this is my last slide, and I just wanna show you so far what we as the city have been able to get as a commitment from the program. So as you know, as part of the fully replacement of the IMAX, the aquarium was able to get a 4D theater and a new seal exhibit. Also, the Lockwood Manfield Mansion, they got a new store fencing that goes throughout the property. And there was also some fence and landscaping that was installed at the Danbury Dockyard and in the New Haven line. During construction, you know, the program has a public information welcome center on Marshall Street. And a lot of people do not know, but they do have a lot of education programs in the Norwalk School District. So they go there, they present things to the kids, and sometimes they invite the kids to their site that is right at the corner. Unfortunately, with COVID, that slowed down a little bit. They haven't reopened yet, but it was, I used to go to that office all the time, and it was very common that you see the kids there. There's a lot of project signage that we're able to ask them to install around East and South Norwalk, as well as some decorative screening in construction areas and business coordinations. Also, all the time there is major milestones, they try to do something fun for the community. So just an idea about numbers, so far we got about $44.2 million, pretty much is the aquarium construction here, and this is about $7 million. So there are a few other things that will benefit us. In South Norwalk, after construction, this is the rendering of the new bridge. Oh, another thing that we asked them to do is the lighting of the bridge. This will be static lighting, where the colors will change accordingly to the season, or how we would like to do it. It's not something that we can go there and say, okay, today let's just change this color to blue, but it's something that there will be it will be programmable before, and we believe that this will be really a landmark in South Norwalk. Back again, we talk about improve all the traffic signals. In South Norwalk also gonna get improved. We're gonna have a new longer dock at the Sono Wharf. So what we have there for the vessels, we have 2 docks. We're gonna end up with a very long one, and there will be some aesthetics on the abutment on Water Street that they are improving. So that area, particularly under the actual bridge that looks very dark and not appealing, that will change with the new bridge. The navigation clearance will be better, and also the clearance under North Water now will allow trucks to go under. If you're in the area, you will be surprised how many trucks get stuck on North Water on a monthly basis. So that will not happen and will improve the traffic to go through. On East Norwalk, as I mentioned, we're gonna now have the platforms. We're gonna add on the road more bike lane, streetscape, and improve the pedestrians. There will be improvement on the East Norwalk parking station, because we're gonna have kind of a drop-off area, plus the access to the existing, I'm talking about right in front of 4 Point. It will be easier to get in and out with the new traffic light, plus it will be a better area to go into the access to that driveway will be improved. And again, there will be new elevators on both sides as part of this partnership with a TOD development. So in numbers, it's about 7.3 million extra on the walk bridge that will benefit, that bring all these benefits. And for East Norwalk, it's about 35 million. So again, this is really just a snapshot on where the program is as of today. So how people can know more about the program. So those are the options. You can always email them directly. They're very good on getting back to you. And if they have like 2 people pretty much assigned just to answer those emails and those questions, if they do not have the answer right away, they're gonna find the answer and get back to you. There is the website, and of course the presence on social media. So I think that is my whole presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Vanessa. Mr. Keegan, you have a question?
Come on, Tom.
There you are.
I do have a question, one from me and one from a constituent. The constituent first, Vanessa, there will be sidewalks on either side of underneath the bridge on East Avenue, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, do we know how wide they'll be?
Yes, 5 feet if I'm not wrong. 7 feet
Okay.
all over with 5 feet there, if I'm not wrong, due to the abutments.
Okay, thank you. And my question, I noticed in the drawings that trees are noticeably absent around the train station. Do we have any plan to plant trees in the area or no?
On the original design, we do not have, only because by our standards, the trees do not go on that sidewalk. But we are happy to add it. So remember that on the program, we always have it behind the sidewalk. But now with the whole streetscape, how we're gonna do it, that is very easy to accommodate. But as of now, we have a 7 feet sidewalk. So there would be room for trees if we want trees there.
Okay.
We want trees.
Yeah, we just need to like work the the details, and
All
we can
one
definitely
trees.
accommodate that. Yeah.
Yes, and we know that trees keep traffic slower, so that's always good in that area.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions for Vanessa? Thank you, Vanessa. That was a very thorough and great update.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Ms. Johnson, and then Ms. Young.
Thank you so much for the update. I really appreciate it, Vanessa. And I know that I was talking with one of the District A council members, David Huvelman, last night at the meeting for District A, and he mentioned about the Strawberry Hill. Yeah, which I know is separate, but is there any information or update you have about how?
Yes, I can answer that.
Oh,
So,
great. Thank you.
so the Strawberry Hill, it is a totally separate project, so it's not part of the program. It's actually under a different district, because the Walk Bridge program, they created a new district just to deal with this huge project, right? That is District 5, and the Strawberry Hill is under District 3. So the Strawberry Hill is supposed to finish by November of next year. So November 23 is their final date for to finalize the project. They unfortunately had few delays in the beginning because they couldn't get the traffic close on I-95, because a lot of the work, they need closures on I-95 to get that work done. And that was the regional delay on that. Then we got COVID, and that's the supply chain and the crew and all that. Now, what will happen is that you guys probably saw already that we authorized them to close the Strawberry Hill from April 18th until April 25th. So that what will happen is that there are a few stages that bridge has to go through. What happened is that they are building half of the, actually 1/3 of the bridge first. That's the one that you see as you go now. It's higher, right? You can see that it's elevated and that portion is closed. Then they have to do the other portion of it, the opposite, and eventually they're gonna do the middle and then the other portion. So we're gonna allow them now to move to what we call stage 3, where you're gonna have 2 lanes back. One was still gonna be higher on the new elevation, the other one will be lower, but the mid portion will be demolished and rebuilt. For us to be able to get to that, we need to allow them to close for a week. So that's the closure that is happening on the 18th. And the reason why we asked them to close on that week is that will keep them first on schedule. Second is when the schools are off. That is not very easy street to work on if you have pretty much 3 schools on it. So we have a lot of traffic, pedestrians, buses, and parents. So that is the week to get the work done. We'll close on Monday. Now, another thing, we work very closely with the closures. And East Avenue project is not allowed to do a closure when Strawberry Hill does a closure. So we coordinate with them on a weekly basis. And besides that, we ask them to coordinate among themselves. So we very clearly say that we don't want to be the negotiator between the 2 projects. They have to sit down, figure it out their own schedule, and then come to us and present who is doing what, and then we approve or not.
Thank you so much for that update, and the fact that's a lot to coordinate, a lot of logistics. So thanks for letting us know all the hard work that's being done behind the scenes to move this along. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, those were some questions that had come up. I had heard a couple questions about that today, so thank you for addressing those. Ms. Young.
Hi, I'm sorry about that. My computer battery died. I'm just having one of those days, right? So are there going to be, what's the number of buses that actually utilize the train station, like picking up folks? Have we made more space to accommodate more of those types of vehicles?
The bus stop will be moved, Ms. Young. So the bus, where is the shelter now? It's not going to stay there. It's moving a little bit further, so it also is going to improve the traffic. Now, I do not have the answer about how many buses goes there on a daily basis. I can check with the Norwalk Transit District, but I even believe that the number that they will give me today maybe a little bit off with COVID, because that we're not going to really present what will happen when the project is completed.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, well, thank you very much. It was a great presentation, Vanessa, keeping us updated. Oh, I see Ms. Majelski-Eichner has a question.
Sorry, my apologies. I thought Mr. Keegan's hand was up, so I was waiting my turn. Vanessa, do you have any information about when they're planning on using Manresa Island to build the walk bridge spans? I noticed on your timeline that you have the walk bridge spans sort of 2026 to 2028, but is that actually the plan for the use of Manresa?
I don't know exactly when they would start using it, but remember, they have to build 2 spans there, right? So one, then they have to bring it down if they use it, right? It's not yet 100% that they're going to use that. They are really exploring 2 sites in town, Manresa Island, and there is another lot that they are considering. But that one actually would be the most efficient for them to do the work. So I do not know exactly when they would start using it, but definitely during that period, because they have to build 2 of them. So they would do, and it's not in the whole island also. On some of the drawings that I saw, they're just using, there is kind of a little pinpoint where there is, the barge can kind of get close to it. So that is really the area that they will be using. It's not where it's the land itself.
I am very well aware. I've been extremely active in opposing the use of that property, in part because it will delay all of the city's hard work to try to figure out how to reuse that property. So one of the questions is trying to understand the timeline in which they might be occupying that space and preventing us from moving forward on figuring out a reuse for that land. My other question then, which is somewhat related, and again, you may or may not know, but there have, I believe, my understanding is that there have been changes in the plan for the demolition. So they're no longer, well, let me just ask you rather than speculating. What is your understanding right now of the plans for demolishing the bridge that is currently in place? Because obviously there's quite a lot of concern about given the age of the existing bridge, what kinds of chemicals or materials might be on that bridge at the moment?
I'll be honest, I do not know how to answer that. The only reason there was just a change on the way, on the side that they're gonna do it for the local bridges, that change, not for the walk. So in order to be able to move with the schedule, because before, the 4 bridges was going to be built at the same time, and the first track that was going to be removed first was going to be the northbound one, the southbound one, and the New York one, and then they're going to move to the other side. And now they have to shift that because due to some of the delays, they want to at least get already one side of the bridge, of the 3 bridges done, and when they start the walk bridge. So then there will be no overall delay on the schedule. So that is all that I know about demolition. But if you reach out to them, you may be able to get those answers. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate it.
I imagine Deep will be all over that. Hi, Zelda. Ms. Johnson, you have another question?
Yes, just very quickly, and something that was just raised made me think of it. I think you already answered this, Vanessa, but the idea of the overall timeline still being intact, is that true? Because we've had some delays, and I know I've heard from some constituents that are rather worried when they commute in the city that whenever they go over that bridge, just frankly. So are we still on time overall?
Well, the project itself definitely got delayed. There were a lot of things with like design, how to build, permits and all that. One thing that the program is very hard working on is to not extend. So it's not, they are not going on pause. So they are reinventing a way of continue with the program. So that's why we got the advanced utilities already started. Now we're going to do the East Avenue roadway improvements. That was supposed to be the last thing, but they're going to do now. And then they change the side that they're going to do the track. So in other words, they're trying to keep going. So the overall length of the project, it's kind of the same. It will slip a little bit, but they are still present here and they have the commitment with the city. What we believe that is a good thing.
That's great. Yeah. The delays were a little jarring, but appreciate the fact that we've been able to recover some of that. Thank you so much.
And even like, for instance, few things that they can do in advance for the walk are things that they're going to do first. As I mentioned, they're going to move the MNR transmission lines first as next year, the wetland restoration. So they're trying to catch up on things that they would be allowed to do soon.
Mr. Livingston.
Hey, Vanessa, when are they going to take down the old IMAX theater?
Hopefully it starts spring of next year.
Okay, thanks.
So it was supposed to be now, but again, with that's another thing that they detach and they're gonna do the building next spring.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay. Okay, so that's it. Just one final thing for the committee is that we are working to arrange a tour for the committee of the wastewater treatment plant. I actually saw Ralph Kolb today, and he showed me the coolest thing, a drone that is potentially going to be used in the sewage pipes. And he was pretty excited about it. It was very cool. But you'll be receiving an email, shortly about scheduling something so that we can tour that plant. So yeah, Chris.
Barbara, I'm glad you brought that up. So I was out there today too, and it demoed it. And just to give you guys like a little perspective of what this drone does, is it TV'd 2,000 feet of line in one day, and that usually takes a month. So Suez has brought that technology in. It's so cool. Everyone should see it. And as part of the wastewater treatment tour, we're also going to do a little presentation on how we do snow for you guys at the same time. So we'll make it a part.
Yeah,
I got such a bad joke for you right now, Chris. I'll have to hold it.
It's pretty
You're
amazing.
just as happy as a pig.
You could text me. You could text me.
I'll text you. The little things.
Yeah, I never thought of a drone. I always think of drones flying up, right? But I never would have thought of it going through these big, sewage pipes. Really, really cool. So, okay. So
I do have a question, Barbara. If we're not, I have a question. We talked about renaming Water Street. Did we do that?
For Fire Chief Anderson.
Fire Chief
Right?
Anderson.
Yes, I have. the
And
answer
Mary
for that.
Roman.
The Mary Roman, we haven't approved that yet. We just have for Fire Chief Anderson. That got approved. We are waiting on the family for a date. So we're coordinating with the widow very closely. She sent us 2 dates as of last week. We got back to her and we're just trying to finalize a date. As of now, it may be June or July. As soon as we know, we'll let you guys know.
Is it for both of them or just one?
Just one.
just the one.
If to name for any other person, we have to go through the whole process that it hasn't happened. So we own on Water Street so far, we just have for Fire Chief Anderson. The other one that we approved that was the ceremony was for the police officer. That we did,
Caesar.
Caesar, exactly, that we did on Crescent Street the day before election, I remember.
Right. Okay.
yeah, which was wonderful. Yeah, something from Mary Roman would be really also wonderful. So hopefully that will be in the works.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I will take a motion to adjourn. Ms. Shanahan. Okay, all in favor? Okay, looks like we're all unanimous on that. All right, good night.
Good night.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks very much, Vanessa. Bye, everyone.
Bye.